Hey guys, thank you very much for clicking on another video. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about today's adventure. I'm going to try something I haven't done before, and that is camping in the snow. You can probably see the ridge behind me has a little bit of snow left on it. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to climb up there, drop down the other side, and hopefully I can find some snow to camp in. This is going to be an awesome adventure. I'm really excited. It's just gone 10 o'clock, and so I do need to keep moving. I've got a pretty brutal 250, 300 meter climb to get up the ridge behind me, and that's completely off track, so I need to get going. And then I expect there's going to be a fair bit of snow that I can't actually see from here. That's going to be underneath the trees. So yeah, it could be quite a challenging walk. We'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be a good one. Let's get on with it, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy the ride. Cheers. Well, the climb's going pretty well. I'm at about 1,250 meters above sea level right now. I think I parked the car at around 1,100. And so yeah, I'm probably about 2 hours in. It's been a pretty good walk so far. I haven't really been pushing it too much. The temperature is really nice for walking. It's about, I don't know, it'd be around 10 degrees, I'd say, maybe a little bit more. Taking a couple of minutes, and then yeah, final push up and over this little ridge. I've got a beautiful view actually over the valley down there. I'm not sure if it's going to come out in the GoPro, but I'll give you guys a look. This is just stunning part of the world. I'm on top of the main ridge I wanted to climb, and so I'm just having a look at the maps now. I've actually come a reasonable distance from the car, and so now what I'm trying to do is I've got maybe another 50 meters to walk along the top of the ridge, and then I'll be in a position where I can probably start to drop down. I'm just checking to make sure I'm not going to drop into any creeks, so it looks like I might have to walk a little bit further. So I'm going to take another couple of minutes just to rest. I might have a muesli bar, and then yeah, we'll head along the ridge for a little bit and then drop down the other side and see, yeah, if we can't find some snow. First proper snow, that's pretty exciting. It's not super thick here, it's only a few centimeters, but I'm right in the saddle of the two mountains, so I climbed up one spur and now I'm in the saddle. What I want to do is kind of contour around the other slope from this side and then drop down. So yeah, that's the plan. This is pretty tough. The snow's just thick enough to make you slide around, and obscure the ground so you can't really see what's going on. And there's these really thick regrowth of wattles, which are one of my least favourite forms of thick scrub. It's not too bad in this spot, but yeah, it's been slow going so far. This is pretty nice. I've just found a nice, relatively open patch of ground, and so I've just been enjoying walking in the snow and yeah, looking at the I don't know if you can see it, but behind me there's a rocky outcrop. I had actually planned, when I was looking at the maps and doing some research for this trip, I was thinking what I might do is climb up the next range, which is the one you can probably just make out in the very far distance. But looking at it now, it's getting close to 2 o'clock already. So this walk up in the top here on the coming down the other side of the saddle has actually been quite difficult. So there's no visible snow on that ridge. It's also a long, tough climb to get back up to that height. You'd have amazing views. You'd be able to see all the way down to the main Australian Alps range. It'd be absolutely spectacular. But the way I'm feeling, the way the vegetation and the country is, I think what I'm going to do, I've just had another look at the maps. There is a fire trail, well, there may be a fire trail, there used to be one, about 300 metres down from where I am. So I'm going to cut into this little creek and follow that down to the fire trail. What I'm hoping then is I can follow that fire trail for probably a couple of kilometres, and it looks like there might be a grassy open area. And now, if everything works, then I'm going to try and camp there tonight. So the other complication is I'm not actually allowed to camp where I am right now. I have to go out of this national park and into an adjacent reserve. So yeah, that makes things a little bit more difficult, but it's not very far away. So yeah, I think that's going to be the plan. It's all about adapting and walking to how you feel and how the conditions are. And right now I wouldn't feel comfortable doing the original plan. So I think I'm going to cut it short a little bit. It still should be an awesome camp. So yeah, let's go see what we can find. So I'm in this little creek that I was talking about a moment before. I was actually trying to avoid it and walking in some pretty thick vegetation, because normally the creek lines can be really thick and very difficult to travel in. But this one's open as, so yeah, it's quite nice actually. These subalpine environments are just beautiful. It's always a challenge actually when you're looking for an old fire trail. Quite often they're marked on the map because they were once there, but they haven't been maintained, particularly in areas like this. And so yeah, it's always a bit of a mystery in terms of whether or not you can still use them. It would be awesome because it would give me just a bit of a slingshot a couple of k's further up, and that gets me into an area where I don't need a permit to camp. So yeah, fingers crossed we come across it, eh? Well, according to the topography maps, there should be a road here. There's no road here. It's long gone, unfortunately. Oh, welcome back. So I spent the last hour or so trying to follow this magical road, which is on the maps but doesn't exist. And for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to matter how far I walk towards it. I can never get close to it. There's obviously no road here anymore, but there once would have been a road. And so the roads normally follow the easiest, most gradual path up a slope. So I'm trying to find that, but I'm not having any luck at all. So I'm about 100 meters from the top of this ridge, and then I'm going to drop down into the next valley and then look for a place to camp there. I really enjoy this stuff, but I have to be honest, there are moments where I just go, what the hell am I doing? And I reckon I've had a few of those the last hour or so. I I'm just getting fatigued. It's really challenging. It's quite thick vegetation, and yeah, I've got a really heavy backpack on because I am prepared for the weather to turn really nasty. Doesn't look like it's going to, which is great, but yeah, it means I've got a lot of gear with me, which I probably don't need, but better to be safe than sorry, I guess. So yeah, it's a tough slog. That's the reality of coming out in this country. You don't get it for free. There's yeah, and sometimes you struggle to get a discount too. So you sometimes get to pay full price, and most times you get overcharged a bit. Anyway, I've got about 100 meters or so of vertical to climb, and then I'll be on a ridge line. I'll follow that for probably a kilometre, drop into the valley, and hopefully there'll be a little bit of running water and a flat spot for the tent, and I'm going to call it good. How good's this little rock overhang? You could totally camp in there. That's really cool. Oh, the struggle is real today. So yeah, I think I'm just climbing to the top of the ridge now. Yes, this looks like the top. Made it to the top, finally. It's a pretty specky place. I'm actually on the boundary of those two parks, so I'm probably now on the one I want to camp in, and just maybe 5 meters over that way is the one I've been walking today. I've definitely had enough of pushing through this undergrowth today. The last few trips actually been really good. There's been fires that have cleared out the undergrowth. There hasn't been one here for a while, and so these woody wattles are just everywhere, and they have a combination of dead branches which scratch your arms, and then quite woody branches which just don't want to bend with you, so it's a bit annoying. I should be getting very, very close to where this magical road crosses this ridge. I'm always keen to see if I can find these old roads because it does make life out here a lot easier. I'm walking this direction anyway, so it's worth the effort to have a quick look. I think I found it. It's almost gone, and it's heavily overgrown, but it's just a faint outline of quite smooth flat ground. So I'm either hallucinating or I'm on that magical track. You can just see two faint lines which would correspond to two wheel ruts in a track. So like I say, it might not be it, but it's actually much easier to walk on this so far, so that's good. Alright, I'm going to follow this for as far as I can. Well, I just spent the last few hours telling myself it was okay not to be snow camping today, but I'm at about the elevation that I want to camp at, and there's actually quite a bit of snow here still, so yeah, who knows. I just got rather wet crossing a creek which I just couldn't get through, and then there was a big snowbank. Made life very difficult.
It's 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm within about 900 meters now of the spot I want to camp at, so pretty excited about that. As you can tell, I'm just exhausted. It's been a really tough day. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is all I've got. Ooh. It's pretty cool. Still fairly frozen. We had a big snowstorm last weekend. It lasted for a few days. We actually got snow at our place in Canberra. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I wasn't really sure. It's been quite nice this week, so really wasn't sure if the snow was going to stick around, but looks like there's still some here. It's actually quite deep. Going to try and push out of this low area, try and get some more solid ground, I think. So I'm going to show you why this is really tough to walk through. There's enough snow that it's bent the branches of the shrubs over, and it looks a little bit like this. So yeah, progress has slowed once again. Oh, this is pretty cool though. Pun intended. Oh my goodness. I'm probably about 300 meters from hopefully a nice open patch of grass where I plan on camping tonight. Oh, this walk along the creek here, it's just full effort. Ah, oh, so close, so close. Oh, I think I'm almost at the clearing. That'll be happy days. All I need is a small bit of flat grass or ground. Doesn't have to be grass. Oh, it is just stunningly beautiful here, but it's just such hard work to get here. Oh. So I'm just having a look around for a spot to put up the tent. The grass here is really tussocky. You can see by the way I'm walking, it's actually really challenging, which means it's not going to be super flat ground, and it's pretty much all like this. Near where I first walked into this clearing, there was some more normal grass. So yeah, I think I might walk back there, and it's not as nice. This is a really nice spot. It's open. The view to the mountains there, it's unbelievable how beautiful that is. But yeah, I feel uncomfortable having a fire in this environment because the grass is really tussocky, and even though there's lots of snow in there, yeah, I'd hate to start something that just smoldered for a bit. So I want to go back to that place where I first came in and have a look there, and then make a decision. It's 4:10. It's starting to cool down. My feet are pretty much soaked, and yeah, I may not have a fire tonight. We'll have to wait and see. And if I can find a safe spot to do it, I will for sure. You guys are a bit. That's better. So yeah, it's all about working with the environment, and you know, I'm not out here to trash a place. I love these places, and yeah, hopefully I can find a bit of flat ground that doesn't have the tussock grasses. If I can't, I'm going to make some site work with a tent, and I won't worry about having a fire. It's the way it goes sometimes. I really don't want to put my backpack on. It's probably another couple hundred meters back to where I first came in. I'm done. I'm so done. Have a look at that though. Well, definitely worth coming back. I found some flat ground here, and the grass is nowhere near as tussocky or buttony or whatever the terminology is. But yeah, found where people have camped before. So there's a nice little campfire spot. So yeah, this place might do. As always, for fear of missing out on the best camp spot, I'm just going to have a quick wander around, and then I'm going to fall over, I think. So I think I found some really good flat, well, relative, but given after what I've just looked at, I think I don't know, maybe something like that. I've got a pretty epic view though. Just have a look at that, that mountain in the sunlight. Absolutely gorgeous. So I've actually changed my mind. I think I'm going to put the tent up right here, just where my bag is. The ground's a little bit flatter. There's no trees or anything that are worrying me above, so I think that spot there, even though it's got a slightly better view, and it's only a matter of a couple of meters, yeah, that ground's flatter, so that's what's important. Annoyingly, there's just a little bit of snow there, so I'm probably going to melt that with my body heat on top, but that's the best bit of real estate going, I think. Alrighty, camp's all set up. So you'll note I don't normally have extra tie downs, but because I was potentially camping in a more alpine environment, I put extra cords on pretty much every tie down point I've got. So I've only got the corners pegged out for extra stability, and that's just in case there's any wind that picks up during the evening. I've been over to the fire pit. I'm comfortable. People have had a fire here before and it's been safe. It's covered in snow. I've dug down and that looks safe, so I'm going to have a fire there. I'm just going to the creek to get some water. I've got a bit of a problem at the moment where my feet are really quite cold. I do have a really warm, dry pair of socks, but the problem is I can't put those in these boots without those socks getting wet and my feet staying cold. So I'm going to try and get the fire started, and Hopefully I can warm my feet up that way. If that doesn't work, then it might be an early night. I think it's probably going to be an early night anyway. I'm completely knackered. But yeah, it's a little bit more serious out here when you've got to manage temperature. And I've gone to the snowy bit of the creek. Oh, I saw a nice spot earlier where it was quite easy to get to. Oh, this is not it. Maybe that's it there. Okay, this is going to be quite tricky actually. I don't really like this bladder. It's a Hydro Pack bladder, I think. It leaves a bit of a plasticky taste in the water if you have it in there too long. But this one is freeze proof. So I think that's actually quite important tonight. It doesn't mean the water's not going to freeze, but it means that the bladder's not going to damage. So, well, that water's nice and fresh. Okay, that's one. Now this water is probably good to drink, but I'm still going to treat it, I think. And I've got some, Catadine micropore tablets to treat the water. My water filters are hollow fibre or hollow membrane filters, so they crack if they freeze, so I haven't got them this trip. Oh, lucky purchase. Oh. Okay, looking forward to having some food. Maybe a hot cup of soup. That's a pretty cool campsite. Well, it's definitely time to get the fire started. I've never lit a fire in the snow, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I'm also playing with the camera here. I'm having a lot of trouble with the new camera trying to get it to focus properly. So if I'm out of focus, apologies. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I might have to sell it. Anyway, let's get the fire on. I've just got 3 logs here which I've cut, and that's just to form a base to keep the fire when it starts out of the cool, damp ground. Now these are my fire starters. My mate Alex made them for me. They're basically just cotton makeup pad removers, or remover pads, dipped in candle wax, and they take a nice spark and they burn for a few minutes. So I'm going to use those. I'm too cold to worry about bushcraft. I'm just doing the lighter. You can see that burns straight away. I'm probably going to use a couple just to not muck about. So I have just got some additional timber that I've got from standing trees. I've just pulled a couple of branches off that were dead. And yeah, that way hopefully this won't take too much effort to get going. Oh, I can't stop looking at the view.
There's a few larger pieces which are quite damp, so I'm just moving them to the edge of the fire so they dry out a bit. Oh, I'm just going to warm up. And then, yeah, I probably should get some more firewood before it gets dark, so I just need to get the feet warmer. So yeah, the waterproofing of these boots isn't great. They shouldn't have been so soaked so quickly. What can you do? Actually, I might move that a bit closer. Might move that there. Nice to warm up. It's really nice and calm. Beautiful, beautiful night. Apparently another cold front's coming through tomorrow night, so I am going to get out of here nice and early, just in case that comes a little bit quicker than expected. I definitely don't want to be doing this in a snowstorm, so... You do need to be really careful in these alpine areas. I talked about it a little bit before, particularly this style of grass that's around. So I have checked, and there's no bands on fire in this location. Obviously I'm using my common sense. The ground's very damp, it's covered in snow, but I've still taken extra precautions. I'm using an existing fire pit that's surrounded in snow, so it should be very safe. But yeah, it's definitely worth doing the right thing out here. Oh, that's so good. I should probably actually have a thin polar fleece jumper underneath this one. I should actually probably swap those around. This is quite an expensive down jacket, so if any sparks burn holes through it, so there's always something to do. It's a good amount of water actually from all that snow. Happy with that. Oh, I'm warming up. It just feels so good. Okay, time for some hot noodles. I'm probably going to do 2 courses of noodles. I've got some just 2-minute noodles to get me started, and then I might do something slightly more fancy. Okay, the water's boiling. I've just crushed up my mee goreng. It's going straight in my titanium cup. A little bit of seasoning. The seasoning oil was almost frozen. I checked the thermometer before, it was 1 degree. So yeah, I think it's going to be well into the minuses tonight. Hot and salty goodness. We've got more hot water there for round 2. These noodles are so good. There's something just, I don't know, whenever I have 2-minute noodles in the bush, it just tastes like the best thing I've ever eaten. So good. Oh, time for the next course. I ran out of my trusty instant rice packets, so I've had to go a little bit random. So I've just got some soba noodles and a sachet of salmon. So going pretty non-gourmet tonight. And I've also got some leftover dehydrated broccoli, so I may as well use that up as well. Have some veggies. So yeah, because of all the gear I'm carrying today, I really didn't have additional weight for steak and other sort of gourmet foods, so unfortunately it's the old hiking food. So I'm going to leave that on the fire, let that soak in for about 5 minutes or so, and then I'll add in my and then I'll add in my salmon. Alrighty, it's time. Time for a delicious stout. So I've got a Fox Hat Fat Mongrel Oatmeal Stout. This would have to be probably my favourite stout in a can. Really nice stout. It's 6.5%, made in South Australia somewhere. But they make some really awesome beers, so yeah, definitely worth checking out if you see any Fox Hat beers at your local bottle-o. Definitely worth a try. Oh, so good. I have to say, it's pretty awesome to be able to tuck your beer into the snow, keep it cool, and then go and dig it out when you need it. Yeah, enjoyed that. Oh, it's a good stout. Stouty-licious. Stouty-licious. Well, hello again. Unfortunately, you guys missed dinner. I found a way to keep my feet warm, so I took the boots off and I got a stick in front of the fire so I could rest my feet, my socks in front of the fire. Dried them off reasonably well. They're still a bit damp. At the same time, I could put my boots sort of on the outside and sort of turn them around a bit, so my feet are not nearly as cold anymore. But once I had my shoes off, I was like, well, I'm going to have dinner. So I have to say that stout went down, absolute treat. Really, really delicious. Dinner wasn't the best. It certainly wasn't a stew accompanied with mulled wine as the last trip. That was pretty epic. Unfortunately, yeah, it was a bit of a mishmash. Soba noodles, dehydrated broccoli, salmon. I put some miso soup in there, and I put another sachet of like 2-minute noodle flavouring. So it was a bit all over the shop. It kind of tasted like it, to be honest. So anyway, you guys didn't miss anything. I just put some snow in my pot, and yeah, now I'm going to have some hot chocolate, I think, just to finish the night off. Now I know I'm probably going to break YouTube by saying this, but do yourself a favour, if you like hot chocolate, don't shortchange yourself with the regular hot chocolate. Get the choc mint. That is my tip. Anyway, yeah, don't worry about leaving comments on that below. I had that discussion at work recently, and it seems like there's some pretty strong opinions versus choc mint and regular chocolate, so leave that one alone. Oh, how good is hot chocolate? Especially choc mint hot chocolate. But for now, enjoy my hot chocolate, stare into the fire for a bit, maybe check out the stars, and then, yeah, crawl into bed. So, until then. All tucked up nice and warm in the tent. It does feel really good to lie down and be warm. Especially, yeah, having dry socks on is pretty awesome. So underneath the sleeping bag, I've got my foam mat that I sit on around the fire. On top of that, I've got my Climate Static V insulated mat. I've got the Mont Helium 600 sleeping bag. It's a really nice bag. It weighs less than 1 kilo and is super warm. So that's pretty cool. I do have the Cedar Summit reactor liner. I bought that this week just in case things get really cold. I can give myself a bit of extra protection. I've got plenty of clothes I can put on, so I should be good. Yeah, it's pretty weird actually, looking out into the vestibule and seeing snow. Anyway, we're going to make the most of tonight. I think it's going to be fun. It shouldn't be too cold. Hopefully, I've got enough stuff to keep me warm, so there shouldn't be any dramas. If something eventful happens, I'll check in during the course of the evening. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, good morning. It is pretty frosty. I slept pretty well last night. I was never like super warm, but I was never cold either, so I think I got the balance about right. There is a fair bit of condensation around this morning. There's a fair bit of moisture in my sleeping bag and on my mattress as well. So yeah, another thing to learn. I did pop the vents a little bit on the side of the tent. So I'm just packing away my bedding. As much as I want to stay in bed, it's 10 to 7 in the morning. I do want to start walking earlier than I did yesterday, so if I can start walking by 8:39, I'll be pretty happy. There's a funny thing when you're out here. I love being in these awesome places, but when it takes really significant effort to get somewhere, there's like this inner nervousness in me that I've got to do that again the next day, and kind of the way I approach difficult tasks is just to get it done. So I kind of had that mix of emotions. Anyway, we'll do a bit of packing up, and then yeah, I'll show you my my Dragonfly stove, which is pretty cool. I haven't used it in a long time, so it'd be fun to use that again. Oh, and then coffee. Oh, how good are wet boots? No. Check this out. It is definitely time for a hot cup of coffee. I've had a lot of questions about gaiters. I always wear gaiters. I think it comes down to the fact that my first proper hike, overnight hike in a Trima Gorge, I just came across that many snakes. I think it was well over 20, that I decided some extra leg protection would be a good idea. Now that's not to say gaiters are going to guarantee if you get bit by a snake it's not going to go through, but it's something on top of your pants, right? Or shorts. If you're wearing shorts, that's the end of it really. So it gives me a little bit of peace of mind, but it also just helps, because I do a lot of off-track walking through the scrub, it just protects the shins a bit more, and it helps keep your boots a bit drier and your sort of lower legs a bit cleaner and drier too. So I use a Cedar Summit Quagmire gaiter. These are pretty much brand new. I used them for the first time last trip. They're the canvas model. I have been using the event model previously, just different fabric types. Okay, it's been a very long time since I've used this stove. This is the first backpacking stove I bought, probably, 10 or 11 years ago. It's a pretty serious stove. It runs off white gas or shellite, which means you need to prime it first before the gas can be gasified. Very reliable. It's completely maintainable, so you can check all the O-rings and the bits and pieces, and yeah, you can repair it, which is really, really nifty these days. Has a good windshield. So this is my fuel bottle. It's got about 300 mils of shellite in there. And then you just add pressure to the bottle by pumping it. It's pretty full, so I don't need many pumps. Now, because it is under pressure, it kind of does scare me too. So I am just making sure that I haven't got any air leaks. Okay, so I just moved the GoPro closer as well so you can see a different angle. So open up the valve with the fuel bottle. Open up just test that pressure. I let about a teaspoon or so of shellite into the cup here. Whoop. Yep, it's flammable, all right. Okay, so the idea is that the priming cup heats up the line enough that it vaporizes the liquid shellite, and you know that it's going to be primed because it starts changing color to a blue color. Sometimes you need to let a little bit more shellite into the cup, but that looks like it's about a good amount. So got a cup of water for my coffee. And I'll do another 2/3 cup for the porridge. Oh, alrighty, got a nice boil going here, I think. Almost there. Definitely time for coffee. I've just figured out I might need some more water for my porridge, so I'm just going to keep the stove going. It always pays with instant porridge to start off with less water and then add water, because once you've got too much, it's very hard to make it right again. And nobody needs sloppy porridge in the morning. Let's turn that stove down. Oh, that wind's picking up. It's cold. My feet are frozen again. I think I've actually got about the perfect amount. Coffee in the wilderness, it doesn't get much better than this. Oh. It'll do the job, but it's not going to win any awards, that's for sure. I've got to start moving. I've been sitting down just mucking about, doing a little bit of filming and making breakfast, and yeah, my toes, they're getting really cold again, so once I start moving it's fine. Just need to get through this gruel and then yeah, pack up I think. Alrighty, I'm going to finish my coffee and my gruel, and yeah, we'll check back in once I'm packing up. So. All packed up, it's time to head out of here. Yeah, it's been a really nice trip, even though it's been very difficult, physically challenging. It's been a really good learning experience. So I've learnt a lot, and I'm glad I didn't go straight into the backcountry in the Aussie Alps with deep snow. This has been a really nice introduction to try and hone those skills, get a bit of experience before tackling something like that a little bit later. So yeah, it's been a great trip. I'm not going to take the camera for the first part of the walkout. It was just really challenging, really tricky, and I want both hands available. So I'll put it in the backpack, and then when I get back onto the first ridge I climbed yesterday, that's where I'll take the camera out and we'll show you the adventure. Definitely time to start heading home. It's going to take, I think I started walking close to 10 yesterday and didn't get here close to 4. So what's that, six solid hours of walking. I'm hoping I can do it in about 5 hours today. I think going this way is going to be slightly easier. There'll be longer descents rather than longer ascents, which was yesterday's walk. So anyway, it's time to go. So yeah, I'm going to put this camera away and we'll see you on top of the ridge. All right, cheers guys. Well, I'm having a good day. I found the magical trail, and what I laboured over yesterday, probably spent about 3 hours walking from this point to where I camped. I've just done that in an hour, so I'm pretty happy with the world right now. I've just stopped, I've had a quick bite to eat and a quick drink, and I'm about to climb up to the top of the first ridge that I climbed up yesterday. So it doesn't look too bad from this side. It's only 100 metres or so, maybe 150 metres in elevation, much less than yesterday. And then hopefully most of the way from there will be downhill. So yeah, pretty nice forest I'm in too. Big old trees. Nice grassy woodland. Yeah, this is really good. I'm not really sure what happened yesterday. I think the GPS was struggling to get a signal when I was down in this little valley, and that 20-30 metres of accuracy probably cost me finding the trail. It was actually very difficult to find, and I didn't want to get the camera out and jinx myself because I knew I'd lose it. So in many places it was down to a footpad and not even for a few stretches, but once I got mine, I found the line. It was pretty easy to follow. So that's cut a couple of hours out of my day, which is awesome. Anyway, time to put the backpack back on, keep going, and I'll see you guys at the top. How you guys doing? Thanks for bearing with me there. I've made it up to the top of the last ridge I need to climb today. I've done it in really good time. It's currently 10 to 11, so what was that? Just under an hour to get up the top here. I have contoured around between the saddle and to get onto this spur, and now it's basically 2.5 kilometers to get back to the fire trail down the spur, and then probably another 2.5 kilometers along the fire trail. So yeah, making really good time. I have to say too, it's been awesome to be walking without the camera for once. I normally hold the GoPro. I've got it on a sort of a flexible tripod thing. Yeah, I normally walk with that in one hand, but it's been really nice just to walk with 2 free hands. And I think that's part of the reason why I've been walking so quickly today. So yeah, you guys are going back in the pack, and I'll see you down the bottom. All right, cheers. I made it back to the fire trail. That last hour sucked. That was so bad. I just found myself in some really thick vegetation, and it was a real struggle to get down. So I'm really glad I've hit the fire trail. I think I've got about 2.5, maybe 3 kilometers left. That should be fairly straightforward. Although at the end of a long trip like this, it always feels longer than it is. It's been a great trip. It's been a lot of hard work. You certainly don't get anything for free out here, that's for sure. But I've learned a lot, and I've now got a good benchmark for future trips like this. So yeah, it's been a really good learning experience. I've had a lot of fun. I'm pretty tired now. I'm looking forward to getting home and having a shower. Just wanted to say a really big thank you to you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys. All right, bye.